Good evening, YouTubers. Well, it's been an absolutely freezing day today. The temperature's really cold for Gibraltar and Spain. It's been way down at like 8 degrees centigrade, which I know you guys living in Canada are going, you what? You pussy? Anyway, it's been cold for us, getting used to this temperature, so had the fire going all night and it's not chucking any heat off. It's anyway, we're getting on. Cut long story short, we watched a film tonight, didn't we, Fiona? She's here now, she's going to join me.
Oh my god.
I'm not a big Netflix fan, as you know, but we've got Netflix. And the kids like it, they watch all weird and distorted stuff. Let me just get my darling wife in here, in the shot. Anyway, we've watched this film tonight, which I think was actually quite good. But, and I'll tell you what it's called. It's called I Came By. Now, I'm not one to do film reviews, okay? I'm not a film reviewer. But this particular film on Netflix, with the Downton Abbey star Hugh Bonneville, is that? It was a judge. He played a well-connected judge, it says on the thing. And he's one of these toffs with a bow tie, and he's all preaching the law and our morals and all this shit, and he's murdering people.
Don't spoil the story.
He's got to sell. He's got to sell. Hang on.
When you do a review, you can't spoil it.
No, I'm not going to spoil the film for you. I mean,
he was brilliant.
It ends well. That's all I'll say. It's not a sad ending.
You can't spoil that either. You know how the Lord in Downton Abbey.
The same guy, yeah.
And I don't like Netflix. You know I am not a fan of Netflix, but this is brilliant
Well worth
film.
watching. Well worth
Shocking. We had to keep pausing it.
It's an hour, 50 minutes. Yeah.
I had to keep going outside in the garden for not only for a fag and for air, because it's set in England, in London, and there is so much realism in it. I don't know about you, but coming from Brighton, I have known people in posh houses. I've known people in all kinds of backgrounds, and I've stepped into their world, and it's been fucking messed up. I mean, the stories I could tell. So I could relate to this, and I could see, me and Graham could see exactly where this was going.
I mean, this guy was abducting young men, drugging them, and then locking them up in his cellar.
No, it was worse than that.
And then murdering them, and then cutting them up, and putting them in
it was worse than that.
In a kiln. The kiln.
Oh, don't you're spoiling.
Anyway,
the whole thing,
no,
really.
I'm just saying it's a really good. It's worth watching. It was like. I'm not a film critic, okay? I do apologise for not criticising this film properly, but I'm just recommending it because it makes you wonder how many. I said this the other day. The people who preach morals to everybody and they you're this and I hate criminals. They're the worst. They're the worst. And this guy's a judge. He plays the part of a character of a judge who's there full of himself, and he's actually murdering people in his basement.
He wasn't just playing the role of a judge. The twist on the whole story was he was playing the role of a very left-wing judge. We want equality, we want this, we want that, the wokey-cokey brigade. But it turned out he was one of the bad guys. He wasn't like one of these right-wing judges who likes to go to a den and be spanked or anything like that. Graham's not, you just like... He was a serial killer, yes, but in a very intricate way.
But it makes you wonder how many people there are in the real world who are murdering people.
Well, actually,
in their basements, and they get away with it.
It's strange because about a week ago, I said to you, well, actually, going back, when we left Brighton, Graham's mum lived on Boundary Road in Portslade. And we used to have these kind of conversations. I adored his mother. And I said to her, I wonder how many serial killers live near, within 100 metres of here. And we used to have these sort of conversations. Anyway, we left for Gibraltar and Pam phoned us up and said, oh my God, there was a serial killer around the corner. And you can look it up on Google. I can't remember the name of the road, but
I think it was St Andrews Road, wasn't it? Oh no, that was a brothel. They found a brothel.
No, it wasn't the brothel. Don't confuse
Someone had died in the brothel or something.
No, not at all. There was a serial killer and he had been caught and they'd found bodies in his garden, and then because he rented, they were going back through all the properties that he'd rented, and one of them was just around the corner from us, and it was one that we used to walk past.
Finding bodies in the garden.
And they didn't find any bodies there, but I used to say all the time, I bet you there's a serial killer, or there be, because Brighton is no diss to Brighton. I'm from Brighton, but I love Brighton. But there's some weird shit go down there. There's some weird shit go down everywhere. Yeah. And then about a week or a week and a half ago, I said to you, in fact, Benji's been going to Marbella with his girlfriend on his motorbike, and I've said to him more than once, be careful in Marbella, be careful up that neck of the woods, be careful of Fuengirola, Torremolinos. There's a lot of stuff that can happen up there, and I'm not dissing any particular type of community. And they laughed at me, and I said to Graham, well, you know, there could be serial killers up that neck of the woods. Sure enough, a week ago, a body was washed up on the beach. I'm sorry, this is gruesome, everybody, but you can look it up. It has been in the newspapers. A body was washed up of a young woman on Marbella Beach, and it was just the torso, really. They'd cut the head, the hands, and the feet off. And the Spanish news are very graphic. They'd shown everything, the whole thing, and how the body was
on the
found.
beach.
Oh, yeah,
just
it was awful.
it on the edge
They
of
have
the
now
water.
caught the person. It was her boyfriend, apparently. So my daughter's Spanish
DNA
lawyer
these
said.
days, you know, they can just DNA the body.
So these things are not that far removed. The only thing I would say about I Came By that was not realistic was
the police.
The police. I know I've criticised the police in the past, but they're actually not that shit.
They're actually pretty switched on when it comes to reporting a crime.
They had to be that shit to make the story.
I wanted to
work,
take
I
those shoes
suppose.
off when you're coming to my house, and coppers would no way coppers would take their boots off.
And also when they
just march in, wouldn't they, like that?
When they discovered his that he had a cell in the basement where he'd been holding them all. When they discovered that, the senior officer just walked straight into it. They would never do that. They would tape it off, go, nobody's going in there.
They always spring the lock before
CSI is going in there, nothing's... But they sort of went in and they accepted his explanation and left, and that would never happen. That would just not happen. Yeah. Believe me, when it comes to murders, that is really the police
and they
speciality.
never said, he said, oh, it's my safe room. This is where I hide.
They would not.
Well, there was no handle on the inside, and the spy all looked in, not out.
Well, he said he made his own pottery, and the copper picked it up, and there was a barcode on the bottom of one of the jars.
Disposing the bodies by putting them in the kiln, you know, like a little size of a chest freezer.
Oh well, don't stop it, because you're giving away far too much.
But the film is well worth watching. It takes a lot to impress me with films.
It takes a lot to impress me.
I'm like that most of the time, boring. Oh yeah.
It takes a lot to impress me, and I had to keep just leaving the room because each.
And what was it called again? The film?
I Came By.
Each
segment of it. That was more horrific and it wasn't horrific like gruesome and blood, but it was just horrifying, shocking to me.
Yeah.
Because I know this kind of shit really does happen. And the guy who played the lead, the
he was brilliant. The guy, yeah.
He was absolute genius.
Super creepy.
He was not only that, he was actually quite good looking, charismatic. Oh, it's marvellous. That's a terrible thing to say, isn't it? Actually.
Yeah.
And another one that I watched during the lockdown that was similar, again, based in the UK, was The Stranger. And I won't go into the details of that, but The Stranger is a 10-episode, 1 hour each. And it's so intertwined, and it was so genius. I stayed up all night long.
I don't think I watched that today.
I don't think you paid attention the whole way. I had to see, it was like a page turner of a book, The Stranger. So The Stranger and I Came By, but this is really a review.
Yeah, but I Came By is just a one-off film. It's an hour and a half, so you can watch it in one chunk.
It was shorter, so it worked for Graham's attention span. But The Stranger is 10 hours, if you like that kind of thing.
I hate it when some people go, "Oh, you got to watch this film. It's only 30 hours."
Yeah. I only clicked on that because it was the guy from Downton Abbey, and he looks a little bit like Paul Burrell.
He does look like Paul Burrell, actually. I thought it was him. I thought it was Paul Burrell, an actor. She said, no, it's the guy from Downton Abbey. Oh, his lordship.
See, Paul Burrell's quite handsome, and so is the guy who plays the Lord from Downton Abbey.
You say so.
Well, yeah, of course, I wouldn't expect you to fancy them because you're a fella. Unless you were gay, which you're not. Which we all know. Anyway, yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I came by. That gets the thumbs up, Netflix. All right, Netflix. I'll let you off that one. That was okay. Wasn't too arty-farty, wokey-cokey.
I like your dressing gown.
All right. Aren't you going to say your thing?
Good night, and may your God go with you.